I definitely see this as a more of like
Friendship.
One half of the couple, he has said it's on more of a friends vibe.
I'm a real ass bitch. So when I say something, I mean it. I have no regrets.
It's the audacity for me. It's the audacity that you say something, it's recorded on camera, and then you turn around and you blame everybody else for repeating what you said. Make it make sense. If you're going to say something with your full chest, be an honorable man and say, yes, I did say that, and I'm sorry, and take responsibility for what you said and accountability. Instead of you now trying to target someone, oh, why did you say that? She's now upset. No, she's upset because she's found out that despite her praising you, you were saying mean things behind her back. And I'm going to say it again. I wish Imani had coupled up with Scott, because I think she would have stayed in until the finale. But sadly, she decided. I don't know why she chose Zay, because it seems they were only speaking for 24 hours. And then within that 24 hours, they recoupled. And then he decided they were more of a friends than a romantic couple. I don't know why he didn't tell her that. But anyway, I digress. Hey there, thanks for stopping by. It's Valerie. Welcome to my channel. In this episode, I'll be reviewing Love Island USA, Season 5, Episode 33. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe, click the like button, leave a comment, and definitely turn on the notification bell for when I upload new videos. I want to pretend and say I'm shocked that Cassie chose Leo, but no, I'm not. Because they've always had a strong connection, and as they say, they always pull back to one another. I just hope Leo has learned his lesson, and I hope he makes the changes that are needed in order for his relationship with Cassie to grow. Because I think he's really done a lot of grafting. I really think he's done a lot of grafting, and I hope in that grafting he's also learned that, you know, as Cassie said, this is his last chance. If he makes another mistake, he knows that he is out. So I hope, you know, he puts in the work and he continues to grow with her. And then Jonay picked Scott. Was I surprised? Not really. Mateo, I don't think is really serious about looking for a relationship. I think he's just looking to put his name out there because this is his third show. So I think, yes, Scott, this is his second show, but I think Mateo is just after putting his name out there and wasn't really interested in anything serious, because had he been interested in something serious, he would have put in the effort towards Cassie, but he didn't. He only started putting in his effort towards Jonay last minute, I think, when he realized that he didn't have anyone left to sort of pair up with. I don't know. We'll see what happens with him. He leaves. The Islanders, yeah, they're sad, but they're not, you know, he's not someone I think who had bonded with a lot of people. I think it was only the Casa guys that were really upset. And it seemed more to be Zay who was very upset. Kyle seemed indifferent to him leaving. So I don't know. We'll see how that plays out. Once he leaves, you have Cassie sit down with Jonay, sort of explaining her reason as to why she picked Leo. And I give her credit for sort of not keeping Jonay in suspense, whereby she's constantly questioning why Cassie chose Leo. But at the end of the day, I think this was new to Cassie. This is something she's still dipping her toes in, and I don't think it's something she would want to do on reality TV. I think if she's bisexual and she wants to explore, I think maybe it's something she needs to do in private and sort of get acquainted with it and decide whether or not this is her cup of tea or it's not. We'll see how that plays out. So you have Destiny and Kyle having a conversation, and Ian is funny because he says, you know, Kyle, I call him unseen bits, more or less because we haven't seen Kyle outside of working out in the gym or speaking with the other Casa guys. And so this conversation or this coupling with Destiny is really strange, given the fact that we all know how reserved Destiny is. And so for her and Kyle to suddenly be sitting there and cuddling doesn't make sense to the viewers. And I don't know why the producers have decided to hide this side of this relationship, what their goal is, because they've painted Destiny as this, you know, ice cold queen, and suddenly for her to be in a coupling where she's happy and she's content the way she was with Harrison, I think doesn't make sense. Well, to people like myself, because even in bed, she cuddles Kyle in bed, and it's like, make it make sense. How did we go from her fighting with Zay, not cuddling Zay, not cuddling most of the guys? I think the only guy she's cuddled in bed is Harrison, and the next guy she's cuddled is Kyle. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense to people like me. But anyway, I like the fact that they had a grown-up conversation, and she told him that I am a hard nut to crack. I'm the hardest nut to crack in here. So if you know that you're willing to do the work, then let's go. If you're not, that's fine. And he was happy with that. He said, you know, I prefer working for something good than getting things easy. So And the fact that they addressed the issue that their exes have recoupled, and they were both like, we're not bothered. And that's the last of it. And it was like, oh, that's amazing. And then you go from that to Imani and Zay talking. Imani and Zay don't make sense. I don't know whether, I'm going to repeat, I don't know whether Imani picked up Zay because Destiny picked up Kyle, and because of Destiny's speech, the fact that she said, Kyle was drama free, he wasn't in love triangles, he wasn't toxic, blah, 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 blah. And I don't know whether that hurt her feelings, and this is why she chose to pick Zay. I think she should have gone for Scott. I thought she was going to go for Scott. I think the majority of the viewers thought she was going to go for Scott because Zay is not it for her. Zay is not it. So I don't know why she picked him, and their conversation still didn't make sense. It was sort of like a transaction, like, oh, we had a good conversation, so let's see how it goes. That's how it came across to me. And then you have Leo and Cassie in Soul Ties, and it's so sweet. It's so sweet to see that Cassie, even though she's getting to forgiveness, she's still holding Leo's feet to the fire. She's still letting him know that you still have to work. Just because I've chosen to recouple with you doesn't mean we're all good. It means you still have to continue to graft, and it means that if you make any mistakes, we're out. And so it was nice to see them back to who they were before. Lovely to see them kissing and cuddling, and it was cute. And then everybody got ready for bed, and you have Amani saying, "Oh, we've recoupled. Let us put on sexy, lingerie." And it's like, I don't know. It's only you. I don't think some people will do it. I think some that are in a romantic coupling will do it, and that are comfortable with that. And it was Destiny went in long trousers, long sleeves, and off she went to bed. And it was like, oh, come on. She's really going to make him work. And I don't see her letting Kyle put his fingers in her on the TV show. I don't see that. I think she's one of those people who's not ever going to do anything just for ratings or just to be popular just because of the TV show. I think whatever she's going to do with her partner, she's going to do it in private, but I might be wrong. We'll see how that plays out. And Scott, I didn't expect this from Scott. He was busy chatting under his duvet with Janae, and then suddenly they're kissing, and it's like, Scott, I thought you said you were a slow burn. How did we go from slow burn to suddenly you and Janae kissing and making out in bed? Is that the reason why you wanted Janae? Because you knew she was an easy score? Make it make sense. But hey, it is what it is. And Bergie was busy under his duvet, and it's like, oh my God, you people, give it a break. Anyway, the islanders go to sleep. Am I the only one who's noticed something? The producers are being messy. Now they've taken sort of barely showing Hannah and Marco. Because the only time we saw Hannah was when she was talking to Bergie about his speech when that Taylor made at the recoupling. And then the next thing we see of Marco is him farting in bed. Yeah, we do see them in the morning discussing their coffee, but I've noticed the trend. I think when viewers like someone that the producers don't want to win, they sort of pull them to the back, and then they put their favorites in the front. This happened with Destiny and Harrison, I know, and now it's happening with Marco and Hannah, because a lot of people are saying just give them the prize money. I think the producers really want Bergie to win. I think they want Bergie and Taylor to win, but I might be wrong. Anyway, in the morning, everybody, wakes up. The ladies go to their changing room, and they're sort of having a conversation with them sort of debriefing. And Janae is talking about her coupling and her choice, the reason why she chose Scott and how comfortable she's with Scott. Well, we saw them kiss in bed, so I take it that means they're very comfortable. And then you have Cassie. Cassie is happy that she chose Leo. She says, she really appreciates his efforts. In the morning, he did give her a cup of coffee with a heart shape, and it was lovely. And so she says, yes, she's agreed to couple up with him, but that doesn't mean that they're back to normal. He still has to do some work. He still has to work to win her back because she's still very hurt. The girls appreciate the fact that she's decided to give him a second chance. I think they have a lot more respect for Cassie, the way she's dealt with Leo as compared to how KK dealt with Keenan, but hey, to each their own. And then he brings her pancakes, and it's like, oh my God, Leo is going all out. He's going all out. When he gets there, she's not there. And I think Leo and Destiny have this sort of brother-sister relationship, because when Cassie chose him, Destiny said, oh, he's got 9 lives. And then he's there, he's chatting with the girls. Cassie comes and then he gives her coffee. And he's standing by Destiny. He still wants to continue to have a conversation with everyone. And Destiny says, you need to get out. And he just laughs and, oh, I was just thinking I was going to chill with you guys. And it's like, I love Leo's relationship with all the islanders. I don't think anyone has anything bad to say about him. I think they're only disappointed in him with how he moved about with Jonay, but otherwise, I think he has great relationships with everyone. Leave it to Zay to show his ass. He's a fool. He's a fool. Because the thing is, he made such a big deal about Destiny treating him badly and him having to advocate for himself and feeling, left out in his decision making and feeling restrained and everything else. And then Amani chose to recouple with him. He didn't tell Amani that he wasn't romantically attracted to her. But he's busy sitting there. He's telling Bergie and Marco that, oh, this is not it for me. I want to tell her that this is not it for me. I want to. And it's like, why would you do that? Why would you do that? Why didn't you go home yesterday? Why didn't you tell them? You could have gone home. Mateo would have coupled up with Jonay, and Scott would have coupled up with Imani. Why did you have to, give her the impression that you were interested in her, only for you to turn around and say the following morning, oh, well, I'm really not feeling it. Less than 24 hours. Make it make sense. Now, I hope everybody sees that he's the problem. He's the problem. Anyway, the guys try to impress him. Oh, no, just keep going. Even Bergie saying, oh, just continue the coupling. Even if it's just a friendship couple, just ride it to the end. And it's like, why? Amani doesn't deserve this. Amani came looking for love. Amani's a bubbly ball of energy. Amani's a happy-go-lucky. She doesn't like, this toxicity. Why are you putting her in this situation? I wish she had coupled up with Eddie in Casa. I wish somebody had brought Eddie, because I think Eddie and Amani would have got on very well. Even with Rob, I think Rob would have got on well with her. But the problem was Rob wasn't interested. He was chasing Carmen. So, hey, it is what it is. Then you have Carmen and Kenzo sitting with Bergie and Taylor, busy talking about Leo and Cassie, and it's like, oh my god, do we really need to hear this? I appreciate the fact that they see the efforts that Leo is making, and they are appreciative of that, and the fact that Cassie has not folded, and she's really held his feet to the fire. So I like that about that, but I don't know. We'll see how that plays out. Bergie then receives a message to say that, the guys will be cooking supper, so they need to go to the market to get the food. And everybody's panicking because they know that the guys can't cook. Hannah is saying she's had to teach Leo how to cook certain stuff, so she hopes he'll be able to make something, but she's worried that she thinks he shouldn't cook. And it's like, half the time most of these guys can't cook, so I don't know. And the girls are worried that they're going to have food poisoning, so that's interesting. And so the guys get ready and they leave. And Destiny and Carl are like an old couple, because she calls Carl, can you get me some press-on nails if you get some? And it's like, oh my god, seriously, why? And for him to come back and listen to her, it's like, oh, I like that for him. I like the fact that she's got someone who's attentive. I think Destiny, as long as she has a guy who pays attention and is all in, she'll be fine. I think when the guys are trying to mess about with her, that's when she loses her cool, because she doesn't have the patience for stupid. That's the impression that I get. So the boys go to the market and it's like, who gave Leo the money? Because Leo tells the woman, she charges him like $5 for tomatoes, and then it's like 15 because they decide to take 3. And he says to her, keep the change. I don't even know how much he gave her, but she had this massive smile on her face. And I think the producers were like, who gave Leo the money? Who told him to tell someone to keep the change? But that's sweet of him. I like that for him. I like Leo is very easygoing and he's very comfortable and he's very social with people. So I like that. And then them trying out peppers and doing this pepper challenge. I didn't get that. Kenzo, Scott, Bergie, and Marco, and it's like Bergie should have been really biting into chili because Scott really wanted to cry. You could tell he wanted to cry. They were all taken aback because I don't think they thought it was going to be that hot. And so that was cute to see. They bought some flowers for the girls and that was amazing. And then in the villa, you have the girls sort of chatting. You have Carmen and Jonay having a conversation about Jonay's coupling up with Scott and how she feels. And she says she's happy. She's looking for love. So she hopes it works out with Scott. I don't know. I really don't know, because the problem with Scott is he has this great connection with Catherine in the UK. So I don't know whether he and Catherine, because they were very vague in regards to have they broken up or are they still together or what's going on there. So I hope Jonay doesn't get her heart broken if Scott decides to go back to Catherine. But hey, it is what it is. you then have Amani sort of chatting with Taylor and Hannah and sort of telling them that she's happy that she chose Zay. She thinks he's very sensitive, he's very caring. She's speaking very highly of him, and it's like, why? Why? This guy has said he wants to break up with you. Why didn't he tell you the truth? Why did the guys hold him back? Because now you look like a fool for bigging up this guy who's saying nothing but negative stuff about your coupling, and it doesn't make sense because she says she's confident in her coupling. She likes Zay, and she likes the fact that he's sensitive, he's caring, and he's always willing to put her first. And it's like, well, he's not really, because he's already checked out. Because if he really was interested in you, he would have made more of an effort. And she's saying she had one long conversation with him that convinced her that it was it. And I'm like, nah. I think Scott was it for you. I don't get why you ended up with this boy, but hey, it is what it is. So the boys returned from the market. It was cute to see how excited the girls were to see them back. Obviously, they were scared when they saw fresh produce because they didn't know whether the guys would be able to prepare anything. And then they all get ready for the night and the guys start cooking. On the UK version, they did something similar, but they had the single islanders cook for everybody else that was in a coupling. So it was nice to see the guys cook. Marco talked a good game. I really didn't see what he did. Kenzo was just pacing about. I don't know why, because, you know, or maybe it's because Carmen said he hasn't cooked for like 2-3 months. So hey, it is what it is. And they made spaghetti and meatballs with garlic bread and something else, but the girls were just watching, and eventually the girls came down to eat, and it was nice to see how appreciative the girls were of the meal and how they really bigged up the guys. And it was good that they did say a lot of positive things which made the guys feel good. They then decided to do a Thanksgiving and sort of say what they were all thankful for. And I don't know, I know Hannah said she was thankful that she had managed to create friendships with people because she's someone who doesn't create friendships with people in the real world easily. So that was nice. Bergie obviously was appreciative of the fact that he's still in the villa, even though he self-eliminated on the first day. And I think he's seen his growth. I think he's seen his growth. I have no problems with Bergie's growth or his development. I think my issue is the little snarky remarks that he's making. That's where he's rubbing me a bit the wrong way. I was one of the people that was championing for him to stay in the villa because I felt by the time he came to the end, he would be a totally different man to the man he was going into the villa. So that's nice to see. So Hannah receives a text message to say the couples need to go in their couples and discuss who they think is the least compatible couple. And so they all sort of go into their separate areas and are having conversations. And the ones that stood out for me were the conversations about Scott and Johnny. That makes sense to me. That does make sense to me because the problem is Scott was still exploring a lot of options, and Johnny was doing the same, and their decisions only came as a result of the fact that Imani picked Zay and Cassie picked Leo. This is how they ended up together. So I don't know about the compatibility. I know they were kissing in bed. I don't know whether it's more for sexual attraction than anything else. And then you have Carmen sort of questioning Destiny and Kyle and saying, why didn't they explore that in Casa? And it's because Destiny has never been someone to sort of try and fight over a guy. If you look at all the guys she was in a couple with, as soon as a girl expressed interest or coupled up with the guy, she took a step back. So I understand her respecting Amani enough to not want to explore things with Kyle because he was already exploring things with Amani and they were sharing a bed together. So that would have been very awkward. And I think the only reason why she opened up to exploring things was because she found out that Amani and Kyle were completely done. Amani herself is questioning whether Kyle is the one who's serious. She can see that Destiny is serious, but she's worried that Kyle might be playing Destiny, which is a valid point. It is a valid point. He seems very attentive, and I don't know whether he's doing that because he knows that she's his last hope and he wants to keep her sweet until they leave the villa. So that makes sense to me. Zay and Amani, obviously, Leo brings up the fact that Zay was saying that he's in a friendship couple. Even Scott brought up the fact that Zay said they were in a friendship couple. So we'll see how that plays out once they decide to vote. So the islanders gather around the fire pit and start voting. And am I surprised? No. Am I shocked with the results? No. I think friendship in one particular instance played a part because you have Carmen and Kenzo. They vote for Zay and Imani because Kenzo was there when Zay was talking about being in a friendship couple and wanting to break things off. So his decision makes sense. Hannah and Marco, Hannah is the one who drove the decision of who they voted for. Marco, you could tell, was very uncomfortable with the decision. And once Hannah started speaking, Destiny knew it was them. You could see the look on her face that she knew it was them that Hannah was targeting. And it didn't make sense that how could they vote for Destiny and Kyle when Scott and Janae are there? Scott and Janae were exploring connections with multiple people at the same time before the recoupling, not in sort of in different recouplings, but at this just before the recoupling, they were still talking to a lot of people. So it doesn't make sense. I think Hannah chose Destiny because she's friends with Imani, so she didn't want to vote for her friend Imani. I don't know why she didn't vote for Janae. Or maybe she thought it would make Marco happy, but Marco seemed very uncomfortable because when Scott and Janae started talking about who they were voting for, and the fact that somebody said it was a friendship couple, Scott's face went red because he knew that they were coming for Imani and Zay, because Zay had confessed to him that he was in a friendship couple. So it really made him look bad. It really made them look bad, and I don't know why Hannah thought that was the best decision. Zay and Imani, their decision was childish. They were being petty because of the way they were talking and the fact that they couldn't look Destiny and Kyle in the eye, and you could tell they were very uncomfortable. I think they just did it out of spite. That's the impression that I got. Scott and Janae decided to vote for Zay and Imani, and they were the last vote that Zay and Imani needed to go home because they were the fourth vote. Bergie and Taylor, they were all over the place. But Bergie and Taylor, I think, made sense. Bergie, I think, didn't want to vote for Destiny because he's been with Destiny the longest, and she's been by his side when he was struggling. And she voted to save Carmen when Bergie wanted Carmen saved. So I don't think he was ever going to vote for Destiny. Him voting for Zay and Imani didn't make sense to me. I don't know whether he did that out of allegiance to Hannah and said to go for Scott and Janae because he didn't want to upset Hannah by voting for Zay and Imani, because he was present when Zay said they were in a friendship couple. And then Leo and Cassie. Leo and Cassie were honest. They didn't come out and say exactly the words that were said, but they just said they were going for Zay and Imani, which made sense given the comments that Zay had made. And Destiny and Kyle, they were the grown-up version of Zay and Imani, because they went for Zay and Imani, which is the truth though, because everybody knew that Zay was saying that she's in a friendship couple. So I don't get why he suddenly was upset about the comment that Scott said, you know, he told us that he was in a friendship couple. You did tell them, make it make sense. I don't get Zay. It's the audacity. He did say he was on a friendship vibe with Imani. They'd only been chatting for less than 24 hours. And they had recoupled in that 24 hours, and then he's decided that he's on a friendship vibe with her. So for him to get upset with Janae and Scott doesn't make sense, and for him to try and blame them for Imani being upset doesn't make sense. I would rather somebody be honest with me than somebody lie and then say things behind my back, which is what he did. Imani still continued to move gracefully because she still kept talking positively about him, and it didn't make sense to me, even though she had found out what he was saying behind her back. And I like the fact that while Janae was explaining that the reason why we told you this is because we wanted you to know, and you can't blame us for letting her know what you're saying. And she's been saying nice things about you all the time, and Destiny and all the girls were agreeing that Imani has said the most positive of things about Zay, and for him to suddenly be in his feelings that he's been exposed, that he was saying bad things behind her back, that's not it. That's not it. He needs to deal with whatever issues he has. So Imani then says goodbye. You could see Hannah was upset. I think Hannah was very close with Imani. All the girls were upset. And I like the fact that Imani had a conversation with Destiny, even though it was a snippet. I think just to explain why she had made the decision she had made, and to sort of raise her concern in regards Kyle not speaking to anyone about her coupling. But then this is the same reason that the Love Island USA were bringing up, so it doesn't make sense to me. I hope Destiny is able to get over that, because I really want her in the final. Even if she doesn't win, I think she deserves to be in the final, given how much the producers have really tarnished her image. That's my perspective. But anyway, it was nice to see Imani be happy, and you know, she walked up with her head held high, and I'm proud of her. Anyway, thanks guys for watching. Please don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Bye everyone.